Well, good morning, everybody. Jeff Slakey and Spencer Hughes on the Daybreak show. As we continue our in-person, in-studio interviews coming back, we've got the great folks from the Port of Shelton, Dick Taylor and Wendy Smith. Hello, how are you?
Good morning.
Hello.
Yeah.
It's good to see you guys back in studio. It's been months.
Yeah, it's been 3 months, yeah.
So, and obviously we're wearing our masks during all this, and it's been a wholly different couple of months.
Yeah.
We've only had a chance to check in a couple times with you guys over the course of this. So, how have things been going with the port? Everybody remains healthy, and everybody's
We're all healthy.
Okay.
That's the best part right off the bat.
That's right. Yep.
Okay. How are things going? Let's just tick down through the different properties and start at the airport.
Okay. Let me just start first in the office and kind of what we've done since the shutdown. So the office has been closed since really mid-March, end of March, I guess, when it was mandated and kind of before. And so we all were home working virtually as we could. Of course, that doesn't sit well for maintenance. It's tougher. But they've been able to go back. They went back, I can't even remember when now. I lose time
back in
track.
April,
But
yeah.
they went back in, shortly after we could. And they're able to socially distance. So they're able to mask if they need to, but our bays are large. They can be in their own bays. They're on different properties mowing. And we had a lot of essential functions like mowing that have to happen. Otherwise, you have a bigger problem. So again, our office is still closed, but I have one staff person who comes in every day and answers the phone. And then 3 of us are working still remotely for the most part, going in the office as needed. We thought that our commission meeting this week could be actually in person, but the governor just extended that for 1 week, so we're not able to do that again.
How have those meetings been virtually?
Well, I mean, they work. And they're fine, but I personally don't like them. I mean, just like talking to you now, you've got to have a face-to-face, person-to-person contact to make it real to me, to make it fruitful. And just to look at somebody and see in their eyes and see them smile and what have you. I mean, it means a lot. But we do get our business done we use Zoom.
Sure.
And we're doing the same thing with the PRTPO and some other stuff that I do. So I'm used to doing it now, but I don't enjoy it like I do the person-to-person contact that we normally had over the years.
You can get the technical aspects of the job completed.
Yeah.
But the
You
personal
lose
stuff
the
is tough.
personal.
Just not
that's
there,
exactly
yeah.
what I was talking with Sheriff Salisbury. It's he's a very expressive person, and you can see it in his eyes a little, but there's no smiles, and that's really tough. You got some news coming out of the airport here.
Yeah, there's a big study going on right now from the state of Washington Aviation Division, WASDOT, where they're looking at there's 20 airports throughout Western Washington.
Yeah, they're narrowing to 20,
narrowing the list down to 24. Possible expansion of SeaTac type operations, commercial, passenger, and what have you operations, and we're on that list. They're looking at us, Sanderson Field.
So is that along the same story that we hear at South Thurston County?
Yeah, and I do have an update kind of to that. David Fleckenstein, he's the director of WASDOT Aviation, and he emailed. Our goal now is to let them know that yes, we're interested, which we are, and we've said we are, but he indicated that what they were looking at is either, they call them greenfield sites that they could build a whole nother SeaTac versus expanding existing airports. There are no official greenfield sites. So the one that has cropped up in some of the latest newspaper articles, et cetera, it's a story, it may be looked at. But in that was from a study that was done in 1992, it sounds like. So it was further back. Ago. They looked at it. They potentially thought about, and I may be wrong on that date, and I could look. But anyway, that is less likely, obviously, than to build a whole nother SeaTac. You just think about even an expansion of an existing airport could mean, further traffic. It would mean louder, that kind of thing. So all of it is hard. But to build from the ground up would be,
Even harder.
yeah.
There are
So-
some.
And they're looking at us not as the another seat. They would look at us as a field to support commercial and private aviation that's being moved because an existing airport is expanding into the SeaTac style airport.
Okay.
And so the little guys would leave, and then they would come to an airport like ours.
So it would expand our GA service,
GA,
or it could expand something like cargo,
Sure.
which we, with all of our land, with the former fairgrounds property being, tied into aviation only, I mean, we are just ripe for, plus we have our own water system, we have our own, we have tons of power, we
Yeah.
have fiber optics throughout. I mean, we have so much to offer.
And over the years too, you've proven large planes could land. If there's let's
Yep.
say if
Yeah.
something happens in Thurston and there's an emergency, can be rerouted
Yep.
Sure.
with some.
And we've taken large planes here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, we've had 747s land at Sanderson Field,
Uh-huh.
Not
but they
take
don't
off.
take off.
They don't take
Yeah.
off again. They start taking those things.
And they're pretty
apart.
empty when they land.
Sure.
Yeah.
What about Johns Prairie? How have things been working over
Things
there?
are great, yeah. So just typical operations going on, but we do have some potentials of people, or I should say businesses, looking at their land to possibly build buildings. We actually, when we were able to do our strategic retreat planning back in February,
Yeah.
before all this happened, one of the things we talked about doing, we have an old shed building that has kind of been, one wall on the back and open air. And we thought, it was a good space, like a 5,000 square foot space for someone to come in and do some kind of warehousing, something. So we thought internally our crew could get the sheet metal, wall that in. There's a little training building that has a bathroom, and so it could be something like an office and a warehouse, and then it's got a lot of paved area that's just been existing, and it's just kind of sat. So that's one thing that we're kind of gearing up to work on internally, and then maybe get that leased out as well. Tenant-wise, our tenants are doing great. We've had a few slowdowns. We're working with them individually,
Sure.
but for the most part, they've all been successful in applying for the federal dollars to help keep them operating. A lot of them are essential, so they've been able to continue that way. That's it's great for them, it's great for the economy, it's great for us.
Yeah.
So really, we haven't seen here the, dire, and I think it's more because we're not in the retail, we're not in the,
Right.
the serving sector. We're definitely manufacturing and that kind of thing, which could have continued,
Sure,
So
Well, good.
yeah,
good.
so I'd say, in the worst of times, things are really up, and we've seen even advance of some new operations in tenants that haven't typically been, they've been kind of a quiet mom and pop type business that have really jumped, and that's like home food service that's commercial,
Oh, yeah.
and they're, regulated by USDA. We've seen some of that expand, and different things that now, or the mushroom industry. We have a gentleman that rents a building, not fungi perfecti, but a small scale growing mushrooms to serve the restaurant market. And because of their medicinal, thought of medicinal, with people health concerns and, that kind of thing. So it's interesting the kind of ebbs and flows of our different businesses and what becomes kind of in a hot market in times like this. So.
Well, it's been great to catch up with you guys and see you here in studio.
Yeah.
You too.
We'll continue this as best we can, and still portofshelton.com. You can get latest information, and folks are able to watch the meetings, the commission meetings,
Sure.
They can
online
log
as
in.
well.
Yep.
Dick Taylor and Wendy Smith, good to see you here as we find out what's happening with the Port of Shelton.
You
It's
too.
good to be on this side of the grass and
That's
here.
right.
Yeah.
Good to see you.